Have you ever heard of the term revenge bedtime procrastination? This is a universal human challenge, and it is also acute among neurodivergents, I believe, especially ADHDers. And what it basically involves is around bedtime, when you know you should be getting ready for sleep, not engaging in any kind of activity, not touching your digital devices like tablets or phones, you find that you suddenly get a second wind, you have energy that you need to spend, and you have a renewed desire to engage with something that is stimulating to help you recharge after a long day. I believe because of dopamine dysregulation in neurodivergent brains that a lot of us have to pay a balance that's left over from a day that's highly taxing. We spend a lot of our dopamine to manage our executive functions. We punch above our weight, overcompensating, pushing ourselves to function on a day-to-day basis to meet the expectations of a neurotypical ableist society in terms of productivity and performance and engagement. And then we get to the end of the day and we've had a packed schedule, or we've kind of burned through our reserves in terms of doing the things that we have to do, and we have nothing left in the tank. And we try to replenish our dopamine through some kind of rewarding activity to rebalance it. And the activity is highly stimulating or rewarding. And it's kind of like drip feeding us that dopamine we need to get ourselves back into balance. And this is something common with ADHDers, is that a lot of us need to do what I call procrastimotivation, where we procrastinate to get the ball rolling so we can then start doing actual tasks we need to do. Some of us stay locked in procrastination and never progresses to procrastimotivation, but that's a story for another day. What I will say is, because of this challenge, we often have to take lots of breaks, and we often have to do activities that are stimulating, go snack on something, go jump on YouTube, go down a TikTok rabbit hole. And before long, we've spent an inordinate amount of time doing this recharge activity because it's highly addicting and rewarding. But a lot of us need that to get going in the first place. And then we have to take breaks in between to fill the tank back up. And bedtime is a popular time to do that because, like I said, it's the end of the day and you've burned through your reserves. And before you go to bed, you want to replenish them by rewarding yourself for all the functioning that you've managed to accomplish in that day, all the executive functioning that the dysfunction that you've compensated for, all the self-organization, time management, communication, social interactions, dealing with draining sensory overwhelm situations, all the stuff that we have to navigate as neurodivergents. We feel like we're kind of owed that at the end of a busy day, and so we reward ourselves. But unfortunately, when you engage in stimulating activities before bedtime, it can keep your mind awake, and it can keep you from falling asleep. And in my experience, if I touch a tablet, if I touch a phone, it does keep my brain awake. And sometimes it can lead to very shallow, non-restorative sleep because my brain is still awake when I fall asleep. It keeps trying to do activities. And this is especially hard, like I said, because of that second wind phenomenon, where particularly ADHDers will, at night when it's time to go to bed, suddenly have a renewed burst of energy, and they want to be productive, and they want to sit down and do the thing that they've been waiting to do, whether it's a hobby or something that they're passionate about, and they can't because it's bedtime. And of course, the impulse control might not be there, and so you start engaging in that activity, and then an hour goes by, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you should have been well asleep by now, but your brain is even more awake because you stayed awake and you kept it engaged. And it creates this cycle of where you don't get enough sleep, or the sleep is poor quality, and then you don't feel like you can function the next day, and so your dopamine is highly dysregulated, so you need more rewards, and it kind of fuels itself. And then there are other knock-on effects of engaging in revenge bedtime procrastination. Your anxiety levels can creep up, your mood can tank. I know if I don't get enough sleep, I can get really bad depression and anxiety. So I've had to implement very rigid routines that I don't deviate from, minimal device usage or activities in bed, using bed to relax, hang out with my dogs, for example, not engaging in anything that's going to delay my sleep. And then initially when I struggled with this as an ADHDer, I found I had to get a little phone lockbox from Amazon and lock my phone in there to because I didn't have the self-control to stop myself. I could still kind of touch it through the protective shell, but it was such a deterrent because it was so awkward that I wasn't necessarily wanting to engage with it. So I used that to start with. And there are other features that are built into phones, like timers or built-in timers that anticipate when you're going to bed and they make your screen grayscale. There are app blockers that can block access to certain apps between certain times or limit your daily usage to X amount of time. There are things like that that you can implement to deter yourself from revenge bedtime procrastination. And if you need stimulation, do something that's low engagement, like watching a nature documentary or listening to a podcast, or, like I said, hanging out with your pets or your dogs. And that can help you get some stimulation that is rewarding and keep you engaged as you wind down before bed. Have you struggled with revenge bedtime procrastination? And have you found that you delay your sleep because you're engaging in activities or with devices that impede your sleep? Do you get the second wind phenomenon? Do you experience that? And does it delay your sleep even further? I would love to hear all about your experiences.